ready to have that, and she could always have it later. And so the mother says that if she has the operation and it succeeds and Lainey will be beautiful, then she will love her. So she goes ahead and has the surgery that fails, and she is left with, she loses sight in that one eye. And so she lives with the every time she looks in the mirror, it's like her mother's abuse stares back at her.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
One of the stories that we were made aware of was there was a Delaware pediatrician, and he was accused of waterboarding his girlfriend's daughter. I mean, how can somebody like that, who swears an oath to take care of children, do something so horrendous?
I don't understand. I don't understand how people function. I can understand that in a temper tantrum, and you see that in the parking lot, in the grocery store. The child all of a sudden starts misbehaving, and the mother loses it and slaps the child or shakes the child. But you don't know. You're an observer. It could be a one-off incident.
Right.
But on the other hand, if somebody does it in public once, chances are this continues at home, and even worse.
I witnessed a woman hitting a boy when I was much younger. I witnessed it in a department store, and I said, "Hey, stop hitting him like that." And she looked up at me and she said, "Mind your own business."
Oh.
And she kind of went on her way. I was probably not even 20 yet at the time, but I was thinking, wow, she's being a little bit too rough on this boy.
Yeah.
I've been in a situation like that on a couple of occasions, and I've gone up to the mother and I said, put my hand on her and said, I know how difficult it is to take children to the department store, and try and talk to her and get her a lollipop to get her to calm down, but just don't tell her to stop because she can't.
Hello.
Yes.
And it sounds very judgmental to say that.
Rayne E. Golay is our guest, and we're talking about abuse, especially abuse of children, and how an abused child grows up to be affected in adulthood, and how maybe we as a society can do something. It's hard to change the world, but you might be able to change one person's world. The story I used to introduce you, Rayne, it was a story that Robin and I were exposed to for the first time Saturday night. We were at a fundraiser for an organization in our community that helps out adults similar to the adults you're referring to in the book. And I think it's the better late than never thing. Maybe all of her life she didn't have the self-worth or the support or the things that she needed, and in fact had abuse. But finally, at some point, there was a song I heard one time, and there's a line from the song, and it goes, "At last, there's a plan for me. Somebody gives a damn for me." I can't remember the whole. I don't even know who the song was by, but that's got to be the feeling that you get. At last, there's a plan for me. Somebody gives a damn for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before you reach that point, growing up in an abused home with an abusive parent is normal. That's all that child has seen. And in Lainey's case, she starts questioning her her mother's behavior when she's invited to a classmate's birthday party. And she observes the behavior between her classmate's mother and her friend, and she's sort of baffled that she's never been hugged, and she's never had a birthday celebrated, and so she doesn't even know what to expect. And she's so surprised that there are balloons and candles and cake and presents, and she sort of has this take that, is this how you celebrate a birthday? And the normal for her is to be ignored. And it's a kind of wake-up call for her.
Wow.
There are other families who live in a different way. And when she moves to Switzerland, she very definitely questions her mother's behavior. And and says no more. And she does confront her mother much later when both her children are born, but it doesn't result in anything. The denial, abusers get away through a very, very strong denial system. And her mother's denial was such that it was everybody's fault but not hers.
When you try to give therapy to the people that are doing the hurting, do you also give therapy to the people that are hurt within that same family, or do they go to a different therapist?
I did not work with families. I worked mainly with alcoholics. My experience with abused children was such that I referred them out because I don't have the training. I only have, what I've seen and what I've heard, but I don't have the training to work with abused children. But, of course, the systemic approach to work with the whole family is absolutely paramount, because if one member of that family behaves in an unacceptable and abusive way, chances are others are silent bystanders and are no more secure with that child than the abuser herself.
I have a question, Rayne, about your work with alcoholics. Do you think, because of the fact that we're talking about child abuse, do you think it is a form of abuse if a child has to live in a home? Let's say the husband and the wife, they're always fighting, they're always drinking, and they're always arguing, and they don't really lay a hand on the child. They're okay with the child. But the child has to live in that household where they're always fighting. It's a lesser form of abuse than an actual hands-on, but it must be a form. You're abusing your child's. You're wreaking havoc in that child's home. The safe place that a child should be able to say is home doesn't feel happy.
Well, at least it's neglect, of the child's needs, child's right to security and love and affection.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would go so far as to call it abuse. Emotional abuse, yes, maybe, because living in an alcoholic home, the child never knows what to expect, never knows what's going down and what's going on. Are the parents sort of on speaking terms? Can she expect a peaceful, quiet evening, or is it going to be again another war scene? Everything is totally unpredictable. So yes, it is a form of emotional abuse, definitely, and neglect, because way too often, and so many children are left to their own devices while the parent is passed out.
I like the fact that your book is a novel, because this is what I imagine. I imagine that it gets picked up and then somebody leaves it on the coffee table at a doctor's office. And then somebody's at the doctor's office just waiting, and they say, let me pick this up and start reading it. And all of a sudden, you have given somebody enough information that they can then make a difference in their own lives or maybe somebody else's life, simply because you've told a well-told story. By the way, I wanted to mention, Rayne, in your bio, it says that because we can hear an accent. You're from Finland, right?
That's right. Yes. So
you were able to learn several languages in your lifetime. You translated for the movie business, didn't you?
I did. Yes. When I was 15, my father worked for a film company, the 20th Century Fox. He was their Scandinavian distribution manager. And when I was 15, he said, why don't you start translating films? Because all the films were dubbed, where none of the films were dubbed, they were always subtitled into Swedish and Finnish. And they had to be subtitled before they went to the censor for approval. And that was my job for a few years, and it was wonderful.
Oh, wow. Well, obviously you're using your talent with words and giving us some more to look at. The Wooden Chair is the book. It's written by Rayne E. Golay. Rayne, how do we get the book?
The book is available anywhere where ebooks are sold. It is only an electronic book for the time being. It will come out as a paper book later this summer. I don't know the exact date.
Okay.
But for the time being, it's an electronic book and available everywhere.
And do you have a website, Rayne?
Yes, I do. It's www.raynegolay.com.
It's a pretty name. Rayne, by the way, is how Rayne spells her first name. And then Golay is Golay. Rayne, Golay. Actually, Robin makes it easy for our listeners. If you're listening and you go to the WOCA.com site, go to our guest list for AM Ocala Live. You'll see Rayne's name on today's date, and the website is right there. Rayne, thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. We'll take a little break and be right back.
At Phoenix Infinitum LLC, we are a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business. We specialize in visual advertisements such as graphics, decals, banners, vehicle wraps, and promotional items. Phoenix Infinitum LLC is also your one-stop tactical outfitter with handmade gear made to exceed military specifications like backpacks, range gear, canine equipment, armor carriers, medical bags and supplies, patches, badges, and 100% of it is made right here in Ocala. Phoenix Infinitum LLC is located at 851 Northwest 24th Court in the Bryan Industrial Park. Visit us on the web at phxunlimited.us or call us today to see how we can help you. 352-351-3535. That's 352-351-3535.
How good does it get?
Golf has long been considered to be sport's most prestigious game, and WOCA has your connection to everything in the golf world. Every first and third Thursday at 10 a.m., tune in for Let's Talk Golf with your host, PGA professional and teacher to the stars, Jim Beckett, and operations manager for the Links of Spruce Creek South, Darren Irwin, right here on The Source.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
If you or someone you know has a hearing impairment, Jeff Smalt, owner of Premier Hearing, invites you to come by and see him. Let Jeff make the world sound better with 2 locations, Suite 1530 in the Market Street on the west side of Ocala, or Suite 501 in Old Town Village close to Lowe's on the east side. Jeff wants to help you experience what you've been missing. Call today for an appointment, 352-236-6700. That's 236-6700. Let Premier Hearing help you hear better and save money in the process buying direct.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The